Hey, just thought I'd do a quick unboxing of this Guts figure from Berserk. As you can see, it's a Papa Parade L, so it's a little larger than the usual size, but it's all to bring fans a brand new sense of excitement. But unlike the usual Papa Parade, this box is all cardboard instead of plastic, and there's no window so you can't see the actual figure. But as usual, I shipped this by surface mail, so I spent a lot of time on a boat, just like Guts did in the series. But because of that, it did get a little bit of battle damage, and since this box isn't that unique and it's not a scale figure, I'll probably throw it away. This figure does have a neat gimmick in that you can change out the helmet, which has a clear eyepiece, so you can put a little colored light inside. This figure also comes with the old hexagon base, and if we compare it to the old Papa Parades, hopefully without looking at Marine Skirt, you can actually see they're the same size. Now if you're like me and you were hoping you could display this without the base, unfortunately at the bottom of this there are two little pegs that stop it from being balanced. The weight does feel pretty centered, so I think if you really want to, you could saw it off. Now the figure itself is pretty one note in terms of color. It looks pretty bland from far away, but once you add the sword, it adds a nice little contrast and gives your eyes something to focus on. The sword itself is pretty nice in that it has a little texture on it. In fact, up close you can see the whole armor has texture, with those rigid lines to really help capture the original manga's art style. And I think the red eyes are good enough that I'm not going to change out the helmet. I do wish the rock pillar was a different color or just, a lighter shade of gray, just to help differentiate it from the armor, the cape, and the rock. I think it just kind of blends in too much. Now if you put a standard Papa Parade next to him, you can see he's a bit of a big boy, but not too big where if you place him next to a regular Papa Parade, he looks out of place. Unfortunately, even though the bases are similar, because of his cape it does kind of get in the way. But I do like the idea of him perching behind somebody's shoulder, just looking super menacing. And because of the size, he does look pretty good next to some scale figures, especially if they're more dynamic. I think I'm going to keep him next to Levi. And yeah, I think this is a very good value. I got it around $55 on AmiAmi. Well worth the price, especially because it's Berserk, which doesn't have a lot of affordable figures. With the passing of Kentaro Miura, the original author, I'm sure like everyone else, I'm just glad to have more Berserk stuff. I'm also slowly collecting the single volumes of Berserk. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you had a good weekend, and toodly-doo.